The most surprising lesson from family drama. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. My Uncle Victor is not authorized on this box. The bank officer says, calm as a metronome. Miss Sophia Reyes is. The conference room smells like lemon cleaner and printer toner, the kind banks used to promise order. Victor's cologne is too sweet, his smile too white, the same smile he flashes in church lobbies and at charity galas. My mom, Denise, sits beside him, hands folded like she's praying for me to evaporate. Tessa, my cousin, keeps her phone low, but I catch the red recording dot in the reflection of her nails. Attorney Sloan lays out a notepad, already writing, like we're in court. 2 hours ago, at the funeral home, Victor hugged strangers and called Grandma a saint, then turned to me and hissed, "Hand over what you stole, or I'll make a report." He didn't say police first. He said report, nursing board, employer, anyone who would hear elder abuse, and stop listening after that. I've been a hospice nurse for 5 years. I've changed sheets at 3 a.m., fought insurance approvals, and sat with patients when their families couldn't handle the slow goodbye. But to my family, I'm just the caregiver, the one who chose a job that doesn't photograph well. When I moved into Grandma's modest house last fall, it was sad and wasted potential. When I took her to appointments, it was too involved. When I stayed the night, it was suspicious. Victor leans forward, voice honeyed. This is a misunderstanding. Sophia was helping, but I'm family. I'm the executor. Sloan doesn't look up. You're not listed as executor on the most recent document. Mom's head snaps toward her. Most recent. My throat tightens. I keep seeing Victor's hand on Grandma's shoulder the last time he visited. Fingers digging in, just a little too firm. That night, I found a bank slip on the kitchen counter. Box 219, dated February 3rd, and a brass key wrapped in blue painter's tape. When I went back the next morning, the key was gone. The bank officer slides a folder toward Sloan. Before we proceed, we need the key and the access log. Victor's smile flickers, and for the first time, he looks scared instead of offended. Then the bank officer asks who last checked in on Grandma alone. Growing up, our family loved 2 things, appearances and a scoreboard. New car? 10 points. Promotion? 15. A house and a good zip code? Automatic respect. My job, hospice, was something they treated like background noise, the music you talk over. Mom cared about that scoreboard the way some people care about religion. Denise could turn any conversation into a resume. Tessa's in marketing now, she'd say, beaming. Victor just got invited onto the board. Then her eyes would slide to me, and her smile would tighten. Sophia's still doing that caregiver thing. It's nursing, I used to correct. It's sweet, Mom would reply, as if I'd told her I collected dolls. Victor played the role of family ringmaster. He'd sweep into Grandma's house in a tailored coat, kiss Mom's cheek, and pat my shoulder like I was a neighbor kid. "How's the diaper duty?" he'd joke, loud enough for anyone within earshot. "It's end-of-life care," I'd say, trying to keep my voice even. He'd wink. "Sure, whatever you have to call it." The worst part was that Grandma heard it. Sometimes she'd squeeze my hand after Victor left and whisper, "He thinks kindness is weakness." But Grandma had blind spots. She loved Victor's charm and how he showed up with flowers right before asking for something. The last real argument we had was 3 weeks before she died. I came home from a night shift and found Victor at the kitchen table, flipping through Grandma's mail like it belonged to him. "Hey," I said, sharper than I meant. "Don't do that." Victor didn't look up. "Relax. I'm helping Mom organize things." Mom hovered behind him, nervous. "Soph, don't start. Victor's just trying to make it easier." I pointed to a bank envelope with Grandma's name on it. "That's not organizing. That's snooping." Victor finally met my eyes, and his smile was pure ice. "You're awfully defensive for someone with nothing to hide." Grandma's voice floated from the living room, tired and small. "Victor, leave her alone." He stood, smoothing his cuffs like he'd won. "Fine, but when this gets messy, don't blame me for asking questions." As he walked out, he added softly, "Just for me. Caregivers always think they're saints until money shows up." That was the day I realized he was already counting what wasn't his. Grandma dies on a Wednesday at 4:17 a.m. The kind of time that makes the world feel half-finished. I'm on the couch with my shoes still on, charting meds in my phone, when her breathing changes, slower, then softer, then a pause that stretches too long. I sit up and take her hand. Her skin is warm, but her grip is gone. When the nurse on call arrives, she checks the pupils, listens for a heartbeat, and gives me that look hospice nurses get trained to hold. Gentle, steady, professional grief. Time of death, she says quietly, writing it down. You did right by her. I call Mom first. Denise answers on the second ring, voice sleepy and instantly sharp. Is it now? It's now, I whisper. Within an hour, the house fills with people who haven't set foot in it for months. Victor walks in like he owns the place. Carrying a box of pastries like that makes him a caregiver too. Tessa trails behind, mascara already perfect, eyes scanning the room like she's looking for something valuable to mourn. Victor claps a hand on my shoulder. You can go home now, he says, too loud. We'll take it from here. I stare at him. I live here. I've been living here. He smiles at the hospice nurse, like I'm embarrassing both of us. She means she's been visiting. Mom doesn't correct him. She hugs me quick, then pulls back and looks at my scrubs like they're stained. Soph, let's not make a scene today. A scene. As if grief is a performance and I'm ruining the photos. Later that morning, while Mom and Victor argue over funeral homes, I go to the kitchen to grab my bag. The drawer where Grandma kept her keys is open. The brass key with blue tape, the one I saw the night Victor went through her mail, isn't there. I check the front door, and my stomach drops. The lock has been replaced overnight. A new deadbolt gleams like a warning. My phone buzzes with a text from Victor. Leave the house by noon, or I call authorities. Then I hear the sound of a key turning in Grandma's bedroom door. At the funeral home, the director keeps saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. But his eyes keep flicking to Victor like Victor's the one signing checks. Victor plays grief like a skill. He dabs at dry eyes, tells stories about Grandma's strong spirit, and laughs with people who never once asked how she was doing when she couldn't stand without help. Then he turns the volume down and aims it at me. She was confused at the end, he tells the director, voice full of concern. We're worried certain people took advantage. I feel heat climb my neck. Certain people? Victor tilts his head. Sophia was with her a lot. Isolation can do things to an elderly mind. Tessa gasps like it's a shocking new thought. Mom presses her lips together, refusing to meet my eyes. Attorney Sloan arrives because I called her from the driveway, shaking so hard I could barely dial. She's not family. She's the attorney Grandma used years ago for a simple will. Sloan stands beside me like a barrier and asks, Who made that claim? Victor smiles. No one is accusing anyone. We're just being careful. Careful, I repeat, because that's the word people use when they want to destroy you politely. At the visitation, whispers start. A distant cousin I haven't seen in years hugs me, and then murmurs, I heard you had her sign things. That true? I almost laugh. Grandma could barely hold a pen the last month. I held her water cup, her spoon, her trembling fingers when she tried to button a sweater. I never held her signature. Victor corners me by the coffee urn. I'm filing for an emergency restraining order, he says quietly. You don't come near her accounts, her property, or her paperwork. You can't restrain me from my own mother. I snap. He smiles without warmth. Watch me. Mom rushes up, eyes wide, voice pleading. Soph, please. Just cooperate. We can clear this up without drama. Without drama, I echo, tasting how ridiculous it is at a funeral. That night, while I sit in my car outside my apartment because I don't know where else to go, my phone rings. It's my hospice supervisor, and her first words are, Sophia, we got a complaint. She pauses, and I hear papers shuffling like a verdict. Then she says, they're alleging financial abuse and coercion. Are you safe? By Friday, my supervisor tells me to take a few days off while they review. That's corporate language for, don't make this worse. I say I understand, then sit in my car and breathe like I'm trying not to drown. My hands won't stop shaking. I go back to Grandma's house for my clothes and my work bag. I knock, because Victor has made it clear I'm a trespasser now. He opens the door a crack, chain still latched. You're not welcome, he says. I just need my things, I reply. My charts, my stethoscope. You should have thought of that before you started playing hero, he murmurs. Then he raises his voice, for the neighbors. Leave, Sophia. I'll call the police. Mom appears behind him, wringing her hands. Victor, maybe let her get a bag. No, he snaps, and she flinches. Mom's eyes meet mine for half a second. Panic, apology, then she looks away. That's the betrayal that lands deepest. My own mother choosing quiet with Victor over truth with me. Outside, I call attorney Sloan. She answers like she expected it. Don't go back there alone, she says. He wants you emotional. He wants a scene he can record. He's telling people I abused her. I know. Her voice stays steady. Save every text. Screenshot everything. Write down dates and times. When you moved in, when he visited, when locks changed. Do you have your caregiver logs? I swallow. They're in a folder. In the house. Then we request them formally, she says. Do not force entry. If you look guilty, you become guilty. That night, I spread out what I do have on my kitchen table. Old voicemails from Grandma, photos of her pill organizers, my shift notes in my phone, and a picture I took of a bank slip because it seemed odd. Box 219. Dated February 3rd. I zoom in until the ink looks like veins. I hear Victor's voice in my head. Caregivers think they're saints until money shows up. If he's so sure I took something, why is he the one changing locks? In my glove box, I find Grandma's old notebook, and one page is missing. Saturday morning, I wake up to an email I almost delete because it looks automated and cold. Security notice, safe deposit box activity. The subject line is all caps, the way institutions shout when they're covering themselves. I open it, and my stomach drops. Box 219. Access attempt recorded. Date, February 5th. Time, 10:12 a.m. Location, Lakeview Branch. Under it, if you did not authorize this activity, contact us immediately. I didn't authorize anything. I didn't even know I was listed on the box until the bank officer said my name out loud. But the email is addressed to me, which means Grandma set it up that way before she died. I scroll to the attempted by field and see Victor Harris. My pulse hammers. Victor tried to open the box the morning after Grandma died, after he told me to go home, after the lock changed overnight, after the brass key with blue tape vanished. I call the branch and give my ID info. The representative confirms it, voice clipped. Mr. Harris was denied access. The box is flagged for in-person verification. Why am I getting this? I ask. Because you're listed as coentrant, she replies. The box requires your presence. Coentrant. Grandma did that on purpose. She made sure someone who actually sat beside her bed would have to be there. I dig through my saved voicemails and find one from 2 weeks before she died, her words thin with fatigue. Soph, if Victor asks for the key, tell him no. He'll get loud. Don't let him. At the time, I thought she meant the house key. Now I picture that blue tape. I text Mom the screenshot. No reply. I text Tessa. Did your dad try to get into box 219? She responds with one word. Why? That's the moment I stop waiting for anyone to choose me. I call Sloan. I need to know what Victor did before she died. She doesn't hesitate. Then we build a timeline, and we do it quietly. As I hang up, a new message hits my work portal. Compliance interview scheduled Monday, 9 a.m. The bank email shows Victor tried accessing the box with someone else's signature. Monday morning, I meet Sloan at the Lakeview branch before my compliance interview. I wear a blazer like armor. Sloan brings a yellow legal pad and the kind of calm that makes liars itchy. The branch manager, a woman with silver glasses, leads us into a small office. We can't discuss balances, she says, but we can confirm authorized access and attempted changes. Sloan slides Grandma's death certificate across the desk. We're not here for balances. We're here for the record. The manager clicks through a screen and turns the monitor just enough for us to see headings. Box 219. Coentrants, Sophia Reyes. Grandma. No Victor. Has anyone tried to change that? Sloan asks. The manager's mouth tightens. Mr. Harris submitted a request to remove MS. Reyes on February 5th. 2 days after she died. I say, the words tasting unreal. Yes, he brought paperwork. A power of attorney and a signature card. A power of attorney ends at death. Sloan replies, flat and certain. Which is why we denied it, the manager says. But it's logged. She prints 2 pages, an access history summary and a scan of the signature card Victor tried to submit. The signature is Grandma's name, but the loops are sharp and rushed, like someone copying from memory. She couldn't write like that. I whisper. Sloan taps the bottom corner. Look at the notary stamp. Notarized January 16th. County seal. A notary ID number. On January 16th, Grandma is still recovering from the mini-stroke that leaves her right hand weak. I know because I'm the one who drove her home, and I have the discharge note saved. No signing legal documents for 2 weeks. Do you know who the notary is? I ask. The manager shakes her head. Public record, not through us. Sloan writes the notary ID down anyway, slow and deliberate. We'll find them. Outside the bank, my phone buzzes with a calendar reminder. Compliance interview, 9 a.m. The accusation is no longer a whisper. It's a formal file with my name on it. What if he got her to sign it somehow? I ask, hating the doubt in my own voice. Sloan looks at me like I'm not allowed to blame myself for other people's cruelty. Then the timeline will show it. Sloan points at the notary's stamp date, and it's after Grandma's stroke. We find the notary the way you find most uncomfortable truths now. A name attached to an ID number. Sloan calls first, speakerphone on, her tone polite enough to keep him talking. A man picks up. Yes, I'm a notary, he says quickly. What is this about? Sloan gives him the ID number and the date. January 16th. A power of attorney for Evelyn Reyes. Silence. Then a swallow I can hear through the phone. I remember Mr. Harris. Was Ms. Reyes present? Sloan asks. He hesitates too long. Mr. Harris said she was in the car. He had her ID. He said she was too weak to come in. My fists clench. Grandma couldn't walk across a parking lot without help, but she also wouldn't have signed away her life from a driver's seat. Sloan's voice turns colder. So you notarized without witnessing her signature? I didn't know, he blurts. He was persuasive. He said it was urgent and family matters. He paid cash. Did he ask you to change the date? Sloan asks. A beat. He asked if I could make it the 15th. I said no. When we hang up, the room feels thinner, like the air itself is trying to leave. Victor didn't just take control. He pulled strangers into his story and dared anyone to prove it. Proof starts arriving anyway. A letter from Grandma's investment firm shows up in my apartment mailbox, forwarded to me. Dated January 22nd. One clean line. Distribution request processed. $48,000. I read it 3 times. Grandma lived on careful savings and stubborn pride. $48,000 is a year of her comfort, gone in a single request. The next day, another envelope arrives, a scanned signature card copy, submitted January 23rd, listing Victor's email as primary contact. Same sharp, rushed handwriting. What was he doing? I whisper. Sloan doesn't flinch. Draining and controlling. And building a paper trail to blame you. My phone buzzes with a text from Tessa. Stop digging. You don't know what you're breaking. Then she sends a photo that makes my breath catch. Tessa sends me a photo of Dad's new safe, bolted to Grandma's closet. The missing notebook page gnaws at me. Grandma kept that spiral notebook like a second brain, med schedules, grocery lists, reminders like call dentist in all caps. She didn't tear pages out. Not ever. The rip tells me someone wanted something gone. I spread the notebook open on my kitchen table and remember a trick from high school art class. Graphite catches grooves. I lay a clean sheet over the page after the tear and shade it with the side of a pencil. Slowly, faint lines appear. Ghost writing pressed into the paper beneath the missing page. Blue key, sugar tin top shelf. My breath catches. Grandma hated sugar. She kept a tin anyway, an old biscuit tin with faded roses, mostly for buttons and spare screws. She always put it on the highest pantry shelf because Victor never bothered to look up when he helped. The sugar tin is in the house I'm banned from. I call Mom. Straight to voicemail. I text, please. I need one thing from Grandma's pantry. No reply. Sloan comes over after work, coat still on, and studies the pencil imprint like it's a confession. If the key is there, we access the box properly, she says. At the bank, on camera, with an inventory list. And if the key isn't there, then we file a lost key affidavit and pay for the drill. It's expensive, but it's clean. Clean. That word keeps showing up, like truth is something you can disinfect. Mom finally calls back, voice tight. Sophia, stop. Victor says you're making everything worse. Please, just wait. Wait until the story hardens into greedy caregiver. Wait until Victor gets what he wants. I stare at the graphite words again. Blue key. Sugar tin. Top shelf. If I open the box now, I say, he'll swear I stole from it. And if you don't, Sloan replies, he'll keep trying until he gets in. The moral math is brutal. Protect the family's reputation or protect Grandma's last choice. I grab my keys and stand. I'm getting that tin. Sloan's eyes sharpen. How? I don't answer, because the only way involves a door that isn't mine anymore. Under the notebook page, Grandma's handwriting points to the sugar tin. I call the non-emergency police line and request a civil standby to retrieve my belongings. An hour later, a young officer meets me in front of Grandma's house. Victor opens the door before I can knock, like he's been waiting behind it. So this is who you are now, he says, loud enough for the street. The officer keeps his tone flat. Sir, she's collecting personal property. Keep it peaceful. Inside, everything looks wrong. Grandma's Afghan is gone. Her framed photos are stacked face down. The air smells aggressively clean, like someone tried to wipe her out. I move fast. Clothes, work bag, stethoscope, then head for the pantry. Victor watches from the hallway. Looking for something? He asks. Food, I lie. Top shelf. Rose-patterned tin. My fingers find metal, and I pull it down, forcing my breathing to stay even. I lift the lid. Buttons. Screws. And under them, the brass key wrapped in blue painter's tape. Victor takes a step forward, then stops when the officer shifts his stance. I close the lid, tuck the tin into my bag like it's nothing, and walk out without looking back. In my car, I open the tin again and press the key into my palm until it hurts. Relief hits first, then fear. Because now I'm holding the thing Victor wants, and he knows I found it. That evening, Mom texts. Family dinner. 7:30, please. We meet at a chain restaurant where families pretend everything is fine under warm lighting. Victor stands when I arrive, arms open like a politician. Sophia, he says, we're worried about you. Mom's eyes are red. Tessa's jaw is tight. I'm fine, I say. Victor sighs like he's the patient one. Then let's end this. Hand over whatever Grandma left you, and I withdraw the complaint. Your license stays intact. We keep the family name clean. Clean. That word again. He leans in, voice soft and poisonous. You don't want to be the reason your mother gets whispered about at church. My hand drifts toward my purse before I can stop it. Victor reaches across the table and asks, do you have it? I don't hand him the key. I don't even tell him I have it. I look Victor in the eye across the table and say, if you're so confident I stole, you won't mind facts. His smile stays pasted on. Facts. Honey, this isn't a courtroom. No, I say. It's a bank. Mom flinches at the word, like banks are where ugly things become official. Tessa's phone hovers over her plate, still recording. Sloane's voice is in my head. Don't rant, don't plead, don't improvise. Control the room. So I text Sloane under the table. Key recovered. Set it up. She responds in less than a minute. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Lakeview. Bank manager plus security. Inventory form ready. I ask Mom to come with me. I need you there. I say. Not later. Not after Victor explains it for you. Mom's eyes fill. Sophia, please. Can't we just? Victor cuts in, sweet as syrup. Denise, you don't have to entertain this. She's grieving. She's confused. I feel my face heat. Don't call me confused like she was a diagnosis. Tessa finally speaks, voice defensive. Why are you dragging Mom into it? Because if this is about protecting family, I say, then family can witness the truth. Victor chuckles. The truth? You mean your little stash? I turn to Tessa. You were there when he threatened my license. You saw the email. Come tomorrow. If I'm lying, you'll know. Tessa's mouth tightens. For a second, something flickers behind her eyes. Fear, maybe, or curiosity. Fine, she says. I'll come. Mom whispers. Victor, maybe we should just see. Victor's charm cracks for half a second. No, he says, too sharp. Then he recovers, smile back in place. Do whatever you want, Denise. That night, I don't sleep. I lay the blue-taped key on my nightstand like it's radioactive. I keep replaying Grandma's voicemail. Don't let him. At 1:45 p.m. The next day, I walk into the bank with Sloane on one side and my mother on the other. Tessa trails behind us, silent. The manager leads us to the same lemon-cleaned conference room and places an inventory form on the table. Sloane sets down a small recorder. For accuracy, she says. The door opens again, and Victor steps inside like he owns the air. When Victor walks in, he's smiling like he already won. The bank officer sets a metal tray between us. We open the box together, she says. We inventory everything. My fingers tremble as I slide the blue-taped key into the lock. The bank uses their guard key. 2 clicks, and the drawer releases. Victor leans back, arms crossed, smiling. Let's see what the caregiver hid. Inside isn't jewelry. It's paper, labeled envelopes, a manila folder, and a small black voice recorder. Sloane opens the folder. Revocation of power of attorney, she reads. Dated January 30th. Signed by Evelyn Reyes. Witnessed by 2 hospice staff. Victor's smile freezes. Mom makes a sound like she's swallowing glass. Sloane flips the next page. Coentrant appointment for safe deposit box 219. Dated February 3rd. Tessa whispers, 2 days before she died. I slide an envelope across the table. Grandma's shaky handwriting says, if Victor says Sophia took advantage. Sloane reads it aloud. Sophia cared for me with consent. She did not coerce me. She did not ask for money. Victor is trying to rewrite what happened. Victor laughs, sharp. She was confused. I open the next envelope. Transaction confirmations, highlighted. Distribution request processed, $48,000. Dated January 22nd. Wire transfer, $12,500. Dated January 28th. Beneficiary, Harris Consulting. Mom turns to Victor, eyes wide. Why is your company on this? That's family business, he snaps. Sloane's voice is flat. It's elder exploitation if it wasn't authorized. My hand closes around the recorder. A sticky note reads, 01/16, kitchen. I press play. Grandma's voice, thin. If you hear this, I'm gone. Then Victor's voice, close and furious. You sign it or Sophia's out. I'll put you in a home. Tessa goes pale. Mom covers her mouth. Victor's chair slams back. That's illegal, he barks, pointing at me. This is a setup. Sloane doesn't look away. Notary. Dates. Transfers. Your threat. Victor's charm finally cracks. I kept this family afloat while she played nurse, he spits. The bank officer rises. Sir, step back. Victor lunges toward the recorder like he can snatch the truth itself. Victor grabs for the recorder, and the security guard steps forward. Security doesn't tackle Victor or anything dramatic. They do something worse. They treat him like a problem customer. The guard steps between him and the table, and the bank officer says, Sir, you need to leave. Victor's face cycles through outrage, disbelief, then calculation. He straightens his jacket like he can iron dignity back onto himself. Fine, he says. Enjoy robbing my mother's estate. Then he points at me. This is on you. He storms out. Tessa sits frozen, hands clenched around her phone. Mom looks like she might fold in half. Sloane gathers the documents. We'll request certified copies, she tells the bank officer. And we'll file a report about the attempted access. The officer nods. We have to flag this. It's protocol. Outside the bank, Mom finally speaks. I didn't know, she whispers. Victor said you were pushing. I was changing her dressings. I snap, then hate my own sharpness. He was signing forms in parking lots. Mom flinches like I slapped her. That afternoon, I sit in my hospice agency's compliance office with Sloane beside me. I slide the revocation, the bank confirmations, and a transcript of the recording across the table. The compliance manager reads the dates and goes very still. We have to investigate, she says. I know, I reply. But investigate the right person. 2 days later, my supervisor calls. We're lifting your suspension, she says. Your conduct is cleared. Relief hits, then emptiness. Being proven innocent doesn't refund your nervous system. Victor doesn't go quiet. He starts calling relatives and warning them about me. Tessa texts, Dad says you're destroying us. Are you happy now? I stare at the message until the screen goes dark. My happiness isn't the point. Grandma's voice on that recorder wasn't about winning. It was about not being erased. Sloane drafts an affidavit for Mom to sign, confirming the lock change, the threats, and Victor's control over Grandma's mail and visitors. Mom holds the pen like it weighs 100 pounds. Mom whispers, if I sign this affidavit, Victor will never forgive me. Mom doesn't sign the affidavit that night. She takes it home like it's a live wire. For 3 days, she doesn't call me. When she finally does, her voice sounds older. I open Grandma's closet, she says quietly. There's the safe. I didn't know it was there. My throat tightens. I did. There's a long pause, and then she says the sentence I never expected. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. It doesn't fix the months of silence, but it's the first honest thing she's said in years. I start therapy because I can feel my body staying in fight or flight even when I'm just buying milk. My therapist doesn't let me romanticize my role. Caregiving doesn't mean martyrdom, she says. Boundaries are allowed. So I make them, in writing, the way Sloan taught me. If Mom wants updates, they happen with Sloan included. If Tessa wants to talk, it's daytime. In public, no recording games. If Victor contacts me, it goes unanswered and gets forwarded to Sloan. I stop explaining myself to relatives who only call to ask, is it true you're suing? I'm not suing. I'm reporting. There's a difference, and it matters. Tessa shows up at my apartment one afternoon, eyes swollen. I didn't know, she says. He told me Grandma wanted him to manage everything. I believe she didn't know everything. I also believe she liked not knowing, because it kept her world comfortable. I'm not here to punish you, I tell her. But I'm not going to lie to protect him. She nods. What happens now? What should have happened while she was alive? I say. Accountability. Mom signs the affidavit the next morning in Sloan's office, hands shaking. When the pen lifts, she exhales like she's been holding her breath for decades. She doesn't look triumphant. She looks relieved and terrified. Afterward, Mom asks, can we keep this out of church? I think about the way Victor weaponized whispers against me. Then I think about Grandma's letter. Truth without cruelty. We keep it where it belongs, I say, with the people who can do something about it. That night, I notice the blue tape peeling off the key. It's a small thing, but it feels like time moving forward again. A week later, Sloan emails me the words, Victor wants a private settlement. Victor's private settlement isn't an apology. It's a strategy. Sloan explains it plainly. He wants me to sign a non-disclosure agreement, accept a lump sum, and agree not to report anything else. In exchange, he'll resolve the complaint he started and stop calling relatives. I don't sign. Instead, Sloan files in probate court to remove Victor from any role in Grandma's estate and to preserve what's left. The bank's fraud team requests records. The notary provides his statement. Within weeks, Victor stops showing up at church boards and charity lunches. Not because he grew a conscience, but because people stop returning his calls. Tessa doesn't cut me off. She doesn't become my best friend either. Some days she texts, I'm sorry, and other days she disappears back into the comfort of pretending it's complicated. I let it be complicated without letting it be dangerous. Mom and I rebuild slowly, in small choices. She starts calling me Sophia again instead of sweetie, like she's finally talking to an adult. She asks the questions she avoided for years. When did you start feeling alone? What did he say when I wasn't there? The answers hurt, but they're honest. The most surprising lesson isn't that Victor was capable of cruelty. I've met enough families in hospice to know cruelty shows up when money and fear do. The lesson is what Grandma did anyway. She didn't try to win with drama. She prepared evidence. She chose a witness. She left a path that didn't require me to scream to be believed. For a long time, I thought love meant smoothing things over, keeping dinner peaceful, keeping Mom calm. But Grandma's box taught me a different kind of love, one that draws lines so the truth can breathe. If you're caring for someone vulnerable, here's the practical takeaway I wish I'd learned sooner. Keep a log, save messages, photograph documents, and involve a neutral professional early. Not because you expect betrayal, but because you deserve protection if it comes. On Sundays now, I still drive past Grandma's old neighborhood. I don't go inside that house anymore. I just sit at the curb and remember her hand squeezing mine after Victor left, her whisper in the quiet. Kindness isn't weakness.